and gentlemen, welcome to EWF Adrenaline. What a great show we got lined up for you tonight. Great action coming your way from Hartford, Connecticut this week. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Adrenaline. It's time to open things up. Open the show with tag team action. So there we go then, folks, opening things up, tag team action. And Dead Man's Hand, of course, Ryan and Ace Sanders taking on Asher Callahan and Gunnar Garrett, who's recently back in action after a hiatus, and coming down really confidently there, Gunnar Garrett, with Asher Callahan by his side. Almost sort of a new era, really. He's trying to, you know, he used to come down looking so solemn and everything, didn't he? And now it's just a lifting entrance, and it just looked absolutely brilliant there as they came down together. And tagging up for the very first time here, Asher Callahan and Gunnar Garrett taking on the very, very experienced, of course, Dead Man's Hand. And we've got a great show lined up for you here this evening in Hartford, Connecticut, folks. We've got 6 great matches lined up for you, for your entertainment each and every Monday night here, EWF Adrenaline. Ryan missing with a clothesline, and Gunnar Garrett comes back and turns him inside out with a clothesline of his own. Great start for this tag team here, Asher and Gunnar Garrett. It's going to be really interesting to see what Asher Callahan is capable of. He's quite new into the European Wrestling Foundation, and he's certainly new here, tagging up with Gunnar Garrett, the veteran. Very high expectations there will certainly be from Gunnar Garrett on Asher Callahan. Really, if you're going to team up with somebody and you want success, then certainly you've got to start your tag team formation off with a win, which is what they're hoping for here this week on Adrenaline. Great move by Asher Callahan there, and Ryan Sanders looks a little bit out of breath. He's looking at Ace to see if he can get over there for a tag, but he can't, and instead he gets a forearm to the head by Asher Callahan. And Asher Callahan is a very confident high flyer. Really lots and lots of skills that we see from this man. And again, Ryan missing with that clothesline, and there's another kick to the head to Ryan Sanders, and that's not going to do him any good. And we all know that Ryan Sanders has got lots of scars marking the, just how much he leaves everything in the ring each week from his previous battles over the years. And in comes Ace now. Ace Sanders in the ring, pulls Asher Callahan out of the way, drops his knee down. And Dead Man's Hand is, of course, by far the longest running stable in the European Wrestling Foundation's history. Cover here by Ace, but Asher in no way, shape or form wants to allow that to happen here. Comes right back into it there. Great move by Asher. Walks over to Gunnar Garrett, tags in Gunnar Garrett, and at the moment Garrett and Asher Callahan are working very, very well as a tag team. I must admit, really, they really are. Lots of tags and moves and working together as a team. It's really working well, and Gunnar Garrett just walks straight in to that boot to the face there on the way back into the ring. And Asher Callahan reaches out. And Garrett gets the tag, and back in comes Asher Callahan. Huge knee to the face to Ace Sanders. And Ace Sanders leaves Asher Callahan crawling. His partner's not there for the tag. Gunnar Garrett is not there. Asher Callahan could have done with the tag, and he gets a right hand there. A very strong right hand to the temple. No Gunnar Garrett to make the tag, and there's a cover here by Ace Sanders and Asher Callahan. Bringing out all the stops at the last minute, just lifts that shoulder up in a 2.5 there. And everybody in this arena thought that tag match was over. And Asher Callahan is really struggling here. Look, he's trying to crawl back to get his own corner. And Ace Sanders, of course, he's not going to allow that to happen. Headbutt to the chest. And this is all very frustrating for Gunnar Garrett as well on the outside here. Asher Callahan trying his hardest to get back, but a huge clothesline there by Ace Sanders. Into the cover here. 1, 2, 3, and Dead Man's Hand pick up the win. Well, it's Cole Bennett then, the MMA background against Webster, who's the high-flying, technical style wrestler here. This should be a very, very interesting contest, and Cole Bennett has done nothing but prepare and train in his gym, and he even put an open challenge out to anybody in the European Wrestling Foundation to challenge him for a match in his own gym. I think it was an MMA style open challenge, but you know, this is what he's doing. Look at him now, just straight over the top of Webster there with those blows. And I just have to report that there's been backstage folks, Asher Callahan very concerned about Gunnar Garrett, asking him if he's okay, and Gunnar Garrett seems to have isolated himself, just constantly repeating the same phrase, bigger than I, over and over again. And I just don't know what that's all about. Make of that what you wish, but he's just repeating it and he's not saying anything else. So Gunnar Garrett has just really gone a bit strange, gone backstage there, and Asher Callahan's trying to bring him round, trying to see what the problem is. But here in the ring, Webster and Cole Bennett going at it. Oh, look at that right hand there from Cole Bennett, and that can just end a match just like that at a click of a finger. You know, these MMA fighters are very dangerous people. I mean, they can end matches just in a second with a move, whatever it takes. And Webster's going to have to be very, very careful of that now here tonight. Webster now being dropped down onto the top turnbuckle there. Kick to the midsection by Bennett. Bennett lifts up Webster now, drops him down over and follows through with the punch. Straight into the face. And look at now, Cole Bennett just pummeling away at Webster, and the referee might want to get in there because there was a lot of blows. They could have been knocked out there quite easily by Cole Bennett. Head being rammed into the canvas. And he's just straddling his opponent. It's just a rain of punches being thrown down into Webster now, and I don't know how much more of this that Webster is going to be able to take. And down onto the knee, kicked straight in the face there by Cole Bennett coming through. And Webster just looks as though he could be out of it here. Cole Bennett has completely punched him through several times in the face. And off, my goodness me. The knockout god, Cole Bennett. Webster just gets the shoulder up there. And he's almost inviting even more punishment, really, Webster. Cole Bennett saying, stay down. For goodness sake, just stay down. You just do not know what is coming next from Cole Bennett. He's very unpredictable, very focused, and very turned up in that gym. Nothing but working out. And look at this now, more punches being rained down onto Webster. And now up to the top rope goes Cole Bennett, and off! Both feet straight down onto the midsection of Webster. And again, Cole Bennett now just grounding and pounding Webster down. And he's taken, well, a dozen punches to the head, maybe more. Maybe more. It's an awful lot, really. And I think Cole Bennett has mostly been focused on the head area with those punches. Down he goes again from the top rope, both feet landing straight into the midsection of Webster. The knockout god, Cole Bennett. Takedown and more punches. And Webster almost seems to be now not really, we're not seeing anything coming back from Webster. Cole Bennett overpowering Webster, brings the knee up to the face. But Webster catches the kick coming through. How much more can Webster take here? Has he got anything left in the tank? Webster, go behind. Cole Bennett up on his shoulders. Webster, unbelievable, is still trying to get a submission out of Cole Bennett. And Cole Bennett now right hands to the head of Webster. And I think now Webster on the receiving end of more punches to the temple. And I think any more of this treatment from Cole Bennett on Webster could become a dangerous situation here for Webster. But Webster is not happy at giving up here. He's not going to give up to this man. Pulls him up by his ears, Webster. And I don't know how Webster's still managing to come back at Cole Bennett, having taken all those blows to the head. But Webster is showing here just how resilient he is, how much stamina he has, and how much he is prepared to stand up to any opponent. Cole Bennett having to work very hard, pulling out all the stops here, stopping down on Webster in the corner. An armbar now, pulling right back on the shoulder blade. A submission attempt here by Cole Bennett. And that's it. Webster taps out and Cole Bennett picks up the win.
At least you feel something. I wish I knew
When I came to the European Wrestling Foundation, I was a boy who was lost, and I was a boy who didn't know what to expect. But when you're with your own company for as long as I am, change is hard. You know, you find yourself climbing the ladder and spend years and years to get to the top, but then when it turns out at the top, there's another rope still yet to climb. I've changed 4 times. Time 1, I was confused, lost and just putting on a smile. The second time, when I thought I found myself, and crumbled back down. And the third time, when I lost my entire being and became the one who was here the longest. And time 4, you're looking at him. I finally found myself. I am Danny Hicks, a hiker, the longest reigning Rising Star champion, the only LGBT champion and competitor in this company. I am a husband, a brother, son, nephew and friend, and come next month, father to a beautiful baby boy. Thank you. I gave the Rising Star title the name it deserves, and I thank all of you for following me on the Rising Star journey. But now I must move on from the title. I had you fall there, didn't I? Hiker's not going anywhere. But I've risen as far as I can with this title, and now it's time I go for something bigger. This week I vacate my Rising Star Championship. I vacate this belt undefeated. And Hiker will do whatever it takes to get that bigger gold. I'm talking World Championship. Get your body back to the rock of the frame. Well, folks, moving on to singles action again, and Colt Valentine and Existro Horror here. Now, this is under Iron Match rules, so a 15-minute time limit now has been applied to this match. And the stipulation is that it's been agreed backstage is that this is an Iron Man submission match. So it'll not be pinfalls and submissions, submissions only. And it'll be as many submissions as we can possibly get now between these two, adding them all up at the end to decide the winner. Now, as I have it, the news there, the shocking news we just heard there from Hiker, well, the good news that he's become unbroken, and he looks, how happy does he look, but vacating the Rising Star Championship and entering himself into the Elimination Chamber match at Breaking Point on June the 14th as one of the 6 contenders there for the EWF World Championship. Now, don't forget, in this match, folks, there really isn't any count-out, so I know the referee's counting, but it's just to let the wrestlers know how long they've been outside of the ring. It's not really going to be a score that's counted in terms of one or the other, you know, getting a win or getting a point because of a count-out. There's a lot of in and out of the ring at the moment between these two, but of course, it's all about getting that upper hand in the early part, in the early goings of these matches. That's why Colt Valentine and Existro Horror are doing this. And the thing is, they're doing this because there is a rumor going around at the moment that there is scouting going on. Johnny Styles currently scouting for a new member of the Bullet Club. And, well, so is he paying attention to the to any of these wrestlers here? Who it is, I don't know. Let's put it that way. I don't know who he's going to choose. So, but I just know the whole roster is on alert at the moment because there's a rumor going around. If you're interested in being a part of the Bullet Club, you might be trying to impress Johnny Styles. And Colt Valentine trying to get the first submission there off of the European champion, Existro Horror. And the leading up to this match, there was a lot of chat about the true Iron Man of the EWF, and that's what this match is about. Existro Horror and Colt Valentine have agreed that whoever wins this match will be the officially named Iron Man of the European Wrestling Foundation. And of course, Colt Valentine added to that, you know, if he wins this match here tonight, then Colt should be the #1 contender for the European Championship. And a sliver hold here applied by Colt Valentine. And no, Existro Horror is not going to give up to that. Not right now. So of course, really, you beat a champion in the ring. This is a non-title contest here tonight, but an Iron Man match, submission match. If you win the match, then I want a shot at the title, and that's understandable. You know, it makes sense, doesn't it? You know, that if someone beats the champion, that they're going to want a shot at the title. So we're going to see a lot of submission moves here, and here's another one, a single leg Boston by Existro, trapping the arm in there, but Colt Valentine pushes him away. DDT by Colt Valentine, and we're coming up to the first 5 minutes of this match, having been already, and there is still no score yet, no submissions at all yet have been scored from either of the two. Really, the referee is going to have to keep a close eye on this one, because once the submissions, I would imagine, the first one is scored, we might see a flurry of submissions here. You've got to keep an eye on the scoring, and there's quite a lot at stake, really, being the true Iron Man of the EWF. And another sleeper hold here, attempt by Colt Valentine, also impressing. That's Xistro now taps out to the sleeper hold. So Colt Valentine has scored a submission here against the champion. And Johnny Styles, is he watching this match? Is Colt Valentine even interested in becoming a part of the Bully Club? Well, who knows? Could have been anybody. Could have been Cole Bennett. It could have been anybody. Could be somebody that's coming up in action later on tonight, folks. And lots more action still coming your way here on Monday Night Adrenaline. Toss to the outside, and Xistro now coming off the ropes on the other side. Wait a minute, through the ropes. Drop kick, and Colt Valentine falls down in front of our commentary position here at ringside. And Xistro is taking it to Colt on the outside. Really annoyed, probably trying to get his own back here after that sleeper hold from Colt. Created the first score here to Colt Valentine. The first submission. Crowd is sort of willing Colt Valentine on, telling him to get up and get on with it. And now into the barricade goes Colt Valentine. People standing at the front ringside seats here. The best view in the house, but very close up view, I should say. Some of those were VIP members who walked down the aisle earlier on and met some of the EWF superstars backstage before the show. And in the meantime, Xistro Horror and Colt Valentine are just tearing each other apart here on the outside. Xistro really elbows to the face there on Colt Valentine. And he seems to be intent, Xistro Horror, on doing the damage on the outside, and he's a European champion. Xistro Horror has never been afraid of a brawl, let's put it that way, on the outside. And his upbringing from Moscow, Russia, and the way he was trained, probably would say the hard way, brought up in a dungeon-like training environment. You can see the effects that brawl on the outside is having on both competitors here. And Xistro Horror is looking to try and equalise here. It's still 1-0. Colt Valentine with the only submission of the match so far. And Colt Valentine rolls out of the ring. And that's good strategy, you know, because if he can keep Xistro Horror outside of the ring, he's just gonna tick the clock down. And that's why Xistro Horror is putting him back in there, because that is the only way Xistro is going to get the equalising submission. Now lifts him up onto the over his head here. Down he takes him. Nice move by Xistro. And Xistro now has got to think of a way to get this equalising submission back from Colt Valentine. And the atmosphere in this arena has just all of a sudden gone haywire. Wait a minute, chopping the arm again. Here it is again, the single leg Boston. Pulling back on Colt Valentine. Is this going to get him the equalising submission? No, it's not. And Colt Valentine is hanging in there against the European champion. Now Existro, what is it? He's going up to the top rope here. Up to the top. Wait a minute. Existro, the high flyer. Down he goes. 360 degrees in midair. And once again up to the top. Frog splash. And over the top again goes Colt Valentine, and we better get back out of the way because this could get pretty nasty here. On the outside, Existro realizing that he's got to keep this guy in the ring if he is going to get this equalizing submission. Valentine on the shoulders once again. Existro brings him down. And is that going to be enough for Existro Horror to set him up for a submission? Valentine slingshot off the top rope. And he's going to the outside of the ring here. And again, trying to put a little bit of distance, Colt Valentine, between him and Existro. Another sleeper. Colt Valentine catches Existro again. Another sleeper hold. But Existro manages to escape. And that was really close. Colt Valentine and Existro, the European champion, in a non-title contest, an Iron Man submission match. And Existro is trying everything that he possibly can to get this man to submit or give up. I mean, the referee's still asking. It's not you can still ask somebody if they want to give up. Here we go again. This is the one he uses a lot. He's very comfortable with this single leg Boston here by Existro Horror, pulling back on Colt Valentine, but he can't get Colt Valentine to submit. And this is the thing. We've got just 2 minutes. 2 minutes remaining now between these two to decide who is going to be the Iron Man of the European Wrestling Foundation. Pulling out all the stops, both of these EWF superstars giving everything that they got, and Colt Valentine surviving against the European champion. And Existro Horror has just got 1 minute and 15 seconds to equalise that equalising submission. Colt Valentine got a sleeper hold in earlier on in the match and got a submission out of Existro. And now, off the ropes comes Existro. Back body drop by Colt Valentine. Less than a minute to go. Can Colt Valentine hang on? Existro rolls out of the ring. And Colt Valentine has got Existro Horror here on the outside of the ring here. And if it stays this way, then Colt Valentine is going to end up getting the victory against Existro Horror here, 1 submission to 0, and become the Iron Man of the EWF and win himself a title shot at the EWF European Champion. 3, 2, 1, and the winner is Colt Valentine.
Just
EWF Universe. You should know by now what I am capable of. You all saw what I did last week to Black Skeleton. Oh yes, you did. Well, you know what? I know more about Black Skeleton than I have led you to believe. I know more about Black Skeleton's past, his dark past, than I could care to share here with the EWF Universe. Black Skeleton, what I did to you last week, backstage, is nothing compared to what I'm going to do to you at Breaking Point on Sunday, June the 14th. Black Skeleton, I look forward to our match at Breaking Point, because I don't care what kind of a match it is, because we've already said the title is not at stake. The title is not what's important. What's important, Black Skeleton, is that I decimate you at Breaking Point. And that's exactly what I'm going to do, Black Skeleton. And that is exactly what I'm going to do to my opponent here tonight on EWF Adrenaline. Well, Nightmare, that is a strong message from Nightmare to his opponent, Black Skeleton. Challenging him at the pay-per-view. And, well, this is his opponent here tonight, Muto Kaimon. And he is actually scheduled to compete against Nightmare here tonight. I mean, the scene has been set at Breaking Point, Sunday, June the 14th. Nightmare faces Black Skeleton. Whatever kind of match that's going to be, it's not going to be pretty and not going to be for the weak of heart. And speaking of that, I would not want to be this man, Muto Kaimon, in the ring here tonight against Nightmare. I mean, with the mood that this guy is in, the damage that he did last week to Black Skeleton, power slamming him down onto that concrete floor in the office backstage. This guy is not really going to take any prisoners. He really isn't. And the last person I would want to be is Muto Kaimon in this ring here tonight with Nightmare. At around 6'8" tall and over 360 pounds of pure muscle, and he's just Muto Kaimon there, manhandling back. And Nightmare really, he's just sending a message out. That's what he's doing. This is a way to send a message out to Black Skeleton. Just picks up Muto Kaimon there in that vertical suplex there and drops him down. And it's a way to fall, really, when a man of that size and weight picks you up. Muto now trying to mount some offense of his own here, and Nightmare misses with a clothesline. Muto Kaimon trying to mount a little bit of offense of his own, and there's a cover here by Muto, and he gets a 1 count from Nightmare. one has to wonder what that is going to do to Nightmare. I mean, is that going to make him even more angry? Who knows? Up to the top rope now, Nightmare. Muto flying the right hands in, and they're both up to on the top rope. Muto Kaimon with the elbows onto Nightmare, onto the back of the head. And Muto Kaimon's got him up there, and he takes him down. All 6'8", 360-odd pounds of him. And Muto gets the 2 count. And Muto Kaimon has come in here, the real underdog in this match, of course. And he's coming back into this thing. And this could be the shock of 2020 if Muto Kaimon can beat Nightmare. And Nightmare now with the right hands. And the only thing I worry about is if we've only seen 50 or 60% of Nightmare, in fact, of what he can do, where is the rest of it, and what is he capable of doing to his opponent here? And Nightmare picks up the win.
It all began 11 years ago when I decided to start a new challenge in life. The adrenaline rush became the fuel that makes me feel alive. It takes courage, passion, persistence to keep moving forward. Despite the blood, sweat, tears, and heartbreaks, no matter what the score is, I will always stand up and fight. Because at the end of the day, I know I won't succeed without the days that make me feel like I have nothing left. Those fights have become the lessons in life that have taught me that I'm the only one in charge.
People that have left the scene. Matt's in, man. And I can't see them anymore. Where are you? Where are you now? Where? Can't see you anywhere.
So it's tag team action next, and of course this is a match really. Cheryl Blonde here starting things off with Avril Danger in the ring. And of course the women's champion Anita Cortales teaming up with Avril, and Cheryl and Zero Noir teaming up. If you cast your minds back to last week, Zero Noir came out after the match that Anita Cortales had and attacked her after the match from behind as Anita Cortales was celebrating on the turnbuckles, and Zero attacked her, but Anita came back at her actually. It wasn't really one-sided, so to speak. So Zero and Anita are on opposite sides of the ring here tonight. Of course, Zero, you may be questioning what her motivations are to attack Anita, but it's probably more about that belt than anything else. And when you think about the fact we've got an Elimination Chamber coming up and the announcement of the 6th Lady Elimination Chamber match, 6 women competing for the championship, you know, for the EWF Women's Championship, just like the men are competing for the EWF World Championship. And now we see Zero and Anita in the ring now. After that attack last week, Zero on Anita Cortales. And Anita, I must admit, she was unfazed by it all, you know. Attack from behind, she gave her just as good as what she got and walked away from the ring and didn't seem to say any more about it. But there's only 6 spots, and you got to think about all the up-and-coming superstars as well. We've got a few people coming up through the academy. Yeah, plenty of superstars that would want to be a part of that 6 women lady elimination chamber match. They really do. Zero thrown into the corner. Avril following through with some of the kicks there, tying the arm up there. Look at that, just exposing that chest there, and then flying through with those slaps across the chest there. Zero has to tag in Cheryl Blonde there to get away from Avril. Of course, Avril returning to the EWF with a different look completely, and has not faced many of these people for some time, if at all, for Avril. So it's about kind of starting again for her. So this is a perfect opportunity here, this kind of match, really, to show her opponents what she's all about as she returns. Teaming up with the EWF Women's Champion. So Avril standing there really should be looking at, you know, staying on top of Zero Noir while you've got somebody down, and she's given Zero a chance to come back into the match there. A little bit of a mistake, and in comes Cheryl Blonde. Avril now with a cover on Cheryl, gets the 2, and Zero comes in, and look, Anita anticipates Zero Noir coming in there. Anita is not going to allow Zero to interfere there, knowing what Anita knows now about Zero and capability of interfering. Cheryl, of course, we all know how flamboyant she is in the ring. But she's one of the fan favourites, and no matter what really, what kind of personality she displays, always kind of going to be one of the favourites. And Anita Cortales just lifted up there, and Cheryl focusing on the women's champion. There's a cover here by Cheryl on Anita Cortales, but Avril Danger gets in there, and Zero grabs Avril and down onto the knee. Drops Avril in the ring there. And now look at Cheryl with Anita Cortales in the ring, drops her down. Anita Cortales brushes away the dropkick attempt and tags in Avril. Notice there with that knee there, just very tentatively Cheryl checking on the knee, because she wears that knee brace, and it was well, it's like when you get a knee injury, it's never really the same again, isn't it? I suppose you're always going to be, whether physically it's okay, but psychologically I think sometimes you've always got that doubt. I hope it's going to be okay, I hope it's going to hold out for the match. And Zero Noir now in the ring, and Avril on the outside here, balanced up precariously on that edge of that ring apron, and steps back in. And Cheryl comes back in for some reason. I think just to make sure that there wasn't going to be any interference from Anita Cortales. So this is an interesting combination here this week for tag team action. Zero looks like she wants to get the tag, but Avril pulls Zero up now. Punches and kicks going in, slaps going in, all sorts of things going in here in the corner. Up with the half Nelson, traps the arm there, and right the way back goes Avril. Avril is a very confident individual. She really enjoys wrestling, and well, everybody does, but she kind of displays it a lot more, laughing at people rather than with them. I think that's how I perceive this. Is kind of mocking her opponent here. And again, Zero is taking a lot of punishment here from Avril, who just pulls her in off the ropes there. Traps that neck on the side of the rope, pulls her in. And so far, Avril has been relentless in her attack on Zero Noir. Drop toe hold by Zero, and just walks right over the top. That's a little bit of your own medicine, Avril. And a clothesline takes Zero over that top rope to the outside. Still, Avril has managed to keep Zero Noir at bay here in terms of them being against each other in the ring in this tag team match. Avril has kind of come out on top of this, down onto the knee. And you would have thought by now that Zero would have been trying to tag Cheryl, being inches away. But Cheryl, to be honest, looking at it, she doesn't really look interested in making the tag. I wonder whether Zero Noir is being sold out here. And Avril just continues the beat down on Zero Noir. Of course, with Zero attacking Anita Cortales last week. Submission attempt by Avril now, pulling right back. Inflicting just more and more punishments. And I think Avril there just briefly indicating to Anita Cortalis that maybe she's going to look to be bringing her into the action very shortly, if required. And you can see Zero trying to get to Cheryl Blonde, but Cheryl's not reaching the handout. No handout from Cheryl there, you see. It makes me wonder whether Cheryl is just literally playing a passive part in this tag team match. And I just don't know what's on Cheryl's mind. You know, she doesn't look as though she's really focused on this match to me. And on the shoulders, Avril dumps Zero down and try again to get that submission attempt on. Bends the arms and the legs there. And this is a lot of punishment that Zero Noir is taking from Avril Danger. Submission attempt here by Avril on Zero Noir, and now Cheryl comes in and stomps on Avril, but it doesn't break the hold. And Zero has to break the hold instead. Zero now. No, Avril coming back. And now Avril is going to tag Anita Cortalis, or is she? As Anita jumps down, and she says no. No, you want to stay in there as long as you have. You can finish the match on your own. Anita Cortalis was clear that she did not want to tag Avril in. So that's, for me, that's both of them, Cheryl and Anita, refusing to tag in. I mean, I might be getting this wrong. It might be just my interpretation, but I see Anita Cortalis saying, definitely waving the arms there, saying, no, you want to stay in there for as long as you have. When I was calling out for the tag and then you didn't tag, so as far as I'm concerned, you're in there on your own. You can get the job done yourself. Zero Noir now. There's the tag from Cheryl Blonde. This time there is a tag and Cheryl comes in. Oh, look at this move. Down goes Cheryl Blonde. And I really think that Avril needed the tag there when Anita Cortalis refused to, but Avril kicks out there on two. And Cheryl just drives the boot to the back of the head there, drives Avril face first into the canvas. And look at Avril really struggling there to stand up after those moves being delivered. Snap suplex by Avril, and that could give us some time now to make the tag, and Cheryl makes the tag to Zero, and in comes Zero now to face Avril. These kicks from Avril. Knees to the midsection. Now, Anita Cortalis now. This is going to be a double team. Into the ropes goes Zero. And a back body drop there. And that's the first time I have seen Avril and Anita working together. Anita Cortalis with Zero up on her shoulder, and Cheryl looks as though she's really out of it at the moment, needing a little bit of respite on the outside. Swinging neck breaker by Anita Cortalis. We are seeing just a great match, folks, here on Adrenaline this week. And main event is still coming up with tag team action. Theodore Skullmaster and Zoolite teaming up to take on the new Hiker and Jim Lightsell. Nina Cortales with a cover here on Zero Noir, gets the 2, and Zero actually kicked out on 2. This now, Hurricane Rana flips straight into a power slam. And Anita Cortales and Avril working well together there to get that move in. But the thing is, that could have been enough for a cover from Avril, and she is wasting time. She's not focused on her opponent, and those are not good. Those are big mistakes to make in these kind of matches. But who's going to count anybody out at this stage? And it could be any which one of these teams winning this match here. And if this is anything to go by, that Elimination Chamber match at Breaking Point is going to be out of this world. They both are, both in the women's match and the men's match for the respective championships. So it's Avril Danger then in the green, in the ring, teaming up with Anita Cortales, the EWF Women's Champion. Taking on in the red here, Zero Noir, who attacked Anita Cortales from behind after her match last week. And of course, Cheryl Blom, the former EWF Women's Champion. And in comes Anita Cortales against Zero Noir now. And everybody's looking a little bit worse for wear at this stage in the match. And this is when mistakes can happen. This is when mistakes can happen, believe me. Now Zero, well, I thought she was going up there, but she's just doing a little bit of posing with the crowd, and you can see them all on their feet here at ringside and all around this arena here in Hartford, Connecticut this week. And Zero with the knee off the ropes on Anita Cortales, and Zero Noir and Cheryl Blom pick up the win. It's main event time, folks.
1, 2. Check me out right here, yo.
Yo, the sun don't shine forever, but as long as it's here, then we might as well shine together. Better now than never, business before pleasure. Diddy and the fam, who you know do it better? Yeah, right, no matter what, we airtight.
Yeah.
So when you hear something, make sure you hear it right. Don't make an ass out of yourself by assuming I'm me that keeps you moving. What are you chewing? You know that I'm 2 levels above you, baby. Fuck me, baby. I'ma make you love me, baby. Talking crazy ain't gonna get you nothing to show. And that jealousy is only gonna leave you broke. So the only thing left now is God for these cats. And baby, you know you're too hard for these cats. I'm away cause I'm too smart for these cats. While they making us flat, I'm making us flat.
In the commission, you ask for permission to hit him. He don't like me, him and wild round with him. You heard of us, the murderers, smooth shady. Been on the road lately, the feds hate me. The sun is, they say my killing's too blatant. You hesitate me, I'm in your mama crib waiting. Not taping, your fam, if you need, lays in my hands.
So here we go then, main event time, tag team action, and it's Hiker. He's not broken anymore. It's not broken Hiker. Hiker now teaming up with Jim Lights Out, and that's the last time we are going to see Hiker wearing the Rising Star Championship belt now around his waist. This is a completely new Hiker. He looks nothing like what he looked like before. And we've all seen the stories. We all saw what happened last week, between last week and this, well, I mean, you know, it's, you know, the cabin's been burnt down. You know, he was, you know, I know Cheryl's been by his side trying to help him. And what was happening was he was going inside himself. He was very very sensitive, you know, about the whole everything, really. Every time, even when somebody tried to help him, he would just isolate himself, run away from the problems. And finally, he just decided to face up to some of them. And he's just come out here tonight. And I give him all due respect for coming out and telling everybody that, you know, this is the new hiker that we are now seeing. And, you know, it's not about a title for him. It's about, you know, being the new person. And that doesn't include being the Rising Star champion. It's not about that. So he's vacated the title, and we've got a vacated Rising Star champion now. And no doubt that title will be vacant until we get to breaking point, when there will be 2 #1 contenders named, folks, for a championship match at breaking point. And I noticed that Jim Lightsell as well, he was talking about looking forward to this match, looking forward to teaming up with Hiker, with the new Hiker. And every match that these guys are in now, they're going to be thinking about the Elimination Chamber match at breaking point. Thinking about how they get themselves into that match to qualify for that EWF World Championship match. And that's what Hiker said earlier on. That's why he's vacated the Rising Star Championship. He wanted to go out as a memorable champion, an individual who can't, you know, probably can't. Nobody else is going to repeat that. Nobody else is going to have the same kind of journey that Hiker has been on. And so now his attention is on the World Championship, and he wants to be in that Elimination Chamber match at breaking point. So everybody now, we're what, 3 weeks away, is going to be focused on that. Those final people to get into the Elimination Chamber match. And it's such an individual match, isn't it? You know, we've never seen one before here in the European Wrestling Foundation. Never before. It could be Zulite the Great. Zulite, is he going to be able to make it there? He certainly would want to be in it. Theodore Skullmaster would certainly want to be in it. Jim Lightsell would certainly want to be in it. In fact, there's probably nobody that wouldn't want to be in that match. But somebody's got to be in it, and some people are not going to be in it, and that's just the way it's going to be. And if you're not in the match, then you're going to have to create your own journey and really challenge for these championships in the way that you can. So Lights Out thrown into the corner by Zulite the Great, the hardcore professional wrestler, and there was a hidden tag there. I didn't see the tag. Or maybe the referee did see it, because I didn't see it. And Hiker now comes in, and he's got Zulite there. He could be covering. Yeah, he's going to go for the cover here. Hiker cover on Zulite the Great, but Zulite kicks out on 2. Theodore Skullmaster wasn't far behind there. Theodore and Hiker have had numerous matches. Some of them have been for the Rising Star Championship as well. They've got history together, without a shadow of a doubt. Zulite kick out by Hiker there. Zulite certainly knows what he is doing in that ring. A hardcore professional wrestler, that's what he's known as. And it's all about how people work together as a tag team, because we don't actually have an EWF tag team division in the European Wrestling Foundation. A lot of the time, people end up being tagged together. And some people really don't know what to make of that, you know? They don't know what to expect, and they don't know quite why that's happened. And sometimes some people work better than others in a tag team situation. And I think, to be honest, unless you're in a tag team situation each and every week, then, you know, you're not going to be that great. You know, look at Beautiful and Dangerous, tag team every week, making amazing progress. It's great to see all those moves that they put together. And And they had a great match on EWF Live this week, the house show, and it just shows you if you team together as well as they do, then you're going to go a long way. So Jim Lights Out has got Zulite cornered here. He's isolating him in the corner now, trying to keep him away from Theodore Skullmaster. Up he goes now, up to the middle rope and splashes down onto the back of Zulite the Great. We've seen Zulite in all sorts of different matches, and you know, he's a true superstar across the world. He's world renowned. This guy is known in a lot of places, certainly on the world circuit, some of the indie circuits, but some of the more you know, across the pond in the UK and Ireland and in Europe. He's known in a lot of places, Zulite the Great. He has got a you know, a personal preference in terms of what kind of matches that he likes to be in. Really, when you think about it, you've got to be able to turn your hand to anything, and I think he can. He copes really well with that, and Jim Lightsail needs to tag in Hiker, which he does. And Hiker manages to turn the tables on Zulite here, and he's got him in the corner. Jim Lightsail rolls to the outside. Hiker over the top with that leg drop there. And we've seen him use that move before, and again, the new look, the new attire, but still the same old Hiker really in terms of moves, in terms of, you know, coming in, his abilities and his skills, and he baseball slide out, baseball slide in, catch in, Zulite the Great with that clothesline on the way back in, into the cover here, the referee's down, and Theodore Skullmaster breaks it all up. And in the meantime, while all that's been going on, Jim Lightsail has been taking a bit of time out, and now he's back up on the ring apron. Kick there by Hiker. Wait a minute. Here we go again. We've seen some of these moves. This is a submission attempt here. He could make Zulite tap out. Zulite the Great could be tapping out here, and Theodore again stomping down on Hiker, breaking up that submission attempt there. And that's twice now that Zulite has been rescued by Theodore Skullmaster. Hiker now up to the top rope here, being positioned there by the hardcore professional wrestler. Zulite up to the top to join him. And Zulite now takes Hiker right the way down. And Zulite doing a little bit of damage to himself in the process. But this tag team match is going backwards and forwards, and at the moment it's hard to tell who's got the upper hand. Tag now, Theodore Skullmaster comes in. And these two have met many times before, but wait a minute. Theodore Hiker rolls back in. Theodore Skullmaster tags back out again. Now what's that all about? Theodore Skullmaster, was he expected, did he only want to go in against Jim Lightsail? Is that the problem? Theodore Skullmaster tags out as Hiker comes back into the ring. The problem with that, of course, is Zulite's straight back in again when there was a reason he needed to tag out. He needed to get out there. You know, this is a team match. And look at him now, Jim Lightsail circling. Knees, clotheslines by Jim Lightsail. And Lightsail mocks Zulite the Great there. Poor you, he says, poor Zulite. Not much of a hardcore professional wrestler now, is what he's saying. Oh, lifts that right knee up as Zulite comes down, and Zulite really felt that. You could see his eyes rolling there as that knee was delivered. And I just don't know why Theodore Skullmaster didn't tag in. Well, he did tag him and then straight back out. I just don't get it. Only Theodore knows the answer to that. Again, Jim Lightsell isolating Zulite. That's what he is that's one thing I've noticed about the Masked Lemon. He isolates his opponent in tag team matches. And now we've got all these boots coming in from all different directions if the referee gets out of the way. You've seen Jim demolish opponents with those boots. Tag there by Hiker, and I did see that one. I certainly did. Underneath the clothesline, Hiker now. Aeroplane spin, flips him over. And I think Hiker, if he thought about it, could turn that into a pin. You know, if that was the position he's in, why isn't that a pinfall? You know? It could be. Well, the shoulders are down. Shoulders are down. Whether you've got the leg hook doesn't matter. And just look at Zulite now as he slumps down to the canvas. And Hiker now senses that he might be able to pick up a win here over Zulite and Theodore Skullmaster here together in this match. In Hartford, Connecticut for Monday Night Adrenaline main event, folks. These folks are on their feet, people with phones taking pictures at ringside. Unforgettable memories for the rest of their lives coming to see an EWF show. Now Zulite tags Theodore Skullmaster in, and is he going to stay in this time? Or is he going to tag back out? Looks like he's staying in this time. And look at this. Elbow straight back on Theodore Skullmaster. Hiker nails him. And this is the pinning combination. Hiker, oh, and Theodore Skullmaster kicks out of it. Hiker around again, and here we go, clothesline. One of those exciting moves, explosive action from Hiker, the new Hiker, who came out and told us. And there we go again with a pinning combination from Hiker, gets the 2, and Theodore kicks out again. And Hiker's got the crowd behind him and goes in with a big boot in the corner there to the face of Theodore Skullmaster. And Hiker now picks up Theodore now, throws him into the corner, tags Jim Lightsell, and wait a minute, up goes Hiker to the top, throws him into Jim Lightsell, and Lightsell with the powerbomb down. Great move from this team tonight, and Jim and Hiker really working well together, and Lightsell drives Theodore Skullmaster into the mat head first there, and picks up the 1-2-3. Well, folks, that's all we got time for this week on Adrenaline. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again next week. Thank you, and good night. People say I'm crazy, maybe so I need to go and take a beat.